1, 2, 3, 4.
La fête du Lac des Nations célébrera la musique country cet été à Sherbrooke. Les chapeaux de cow-boy seront à l'honneur le mercredi 17 juillet avec nul autre que Paul Darèche.
Ça fait des années que les gens de Sherbrooke nous demandent « Faites donc une soirée country » ou « Faites donc de la musique country ». Donc, ça devrait être une soirée exceptionnelle. On est tombé sur l'artiste country le plus à la mode au Québec depuis déjà 6 mois, 1 an. Pas parce que sa carrière vient de commencer, là, mais sa carrière est rendue à un niveau extraordinaire. On va l'avoir à la Fête du Lac. Tant qu'à faire de quoi, on va le faire comme du monde.
Le groupe Madame Moustache ouvrira la soirée avec son tout nouveau spectacle à saveur country rock.
Partout où est-ce qu'on a passé depuis 7 ans, les gens sont super réceptifs à la musique country. Ils ont tous une racine en quelque part, soit que les parents ont écouté ou un oncle ou qui écoutent eux-mêmes de la musique country. Donc c'est très rassembleur.
La Fête du Lac des Nations a également développé un partenariat avec le Festival Western de Saint-Tite et fera tirer des billets pour le rodéo parmi ceux qui se seront procurés un passeport spécial.
Donc on invite tous les gens, premièrement, arborer le chapeau de cowboy, c'est très important. C'est que l'on met 500 billets, 500 passeports spécial country en vente aujourd'hui, mais demain, excusez-moi. Et ça coûte 50 $. Ça donne accès aux 6 soirs de l'événement. Les gens qui auront ces passeports-là, quand ils arriveront à la Fête du Lac des Nations ce soir-là, vont se faire remettre un chapeau identifié au Festival Western de Saint-Tite ainsi qu'à Monsonex. Ils seront numérotés, ces chapeaux-là. C'est avec ça qu'on va faire tirer 20 paires de billets pour aller au rodéo à Saint-Tite.
Les organisateurs ont également confirmé que l'auteur-compositeur-interprète Sean Phillips, qui a connu beaucoup de succès dans les années 60 et 70, sera également de la fête.
Cette année, on a encore d'autres affaires à annoncer. Je pense que les gens vont vraiment aimer la programmation. Il y a encore beaucoup de belles choses à annoncer. Et oui, on se réinvente. Il y a encore d'autres trucs qui changent sur le terrain qu'on va pouvoir vous faire part le 28 mai.
Merci beaucoup. Bon après-midi. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. First of all, I want to thank Jim for that very kind introduction, and let me just say in return, it was some years ago, it was over 6 years ago now, that Jim and I had lunch, and Jim decided that he would make the move to Ottawa, and I can certainly tell you we've never looked back from that date, and we could not have had over the past 6 years, but particularly over the past 3 years of all these global economic difficulties, a better and more sure hand on the till of the Ministry of Finance than Mr. Jim Flaherty over these years. So congratulations for some great work. Greetings as well to all of my parliamentary colleagues. I'm delighted that so many of you have come out today. Et merci à vous, Jane, de nous avoir invités à l'ouverture officielle de cet établissement magnifique, le plus grand manoir Ronald McDonald au monde. And thank you, Jane, for inviting us to the official opening of this magnificent facility, as was said, the largest Ronald McDonald House in the entire world. I'd like to begin by addressing a few remarks to the kids who are here today. Kids, I know you come from all over Ontario, and I know that to some of you, Toronto must seem like an awfully big city. You're right, it's Canada's biggest city, and I know how you feel, because I grew up here, and when I was a kid, Toronto seemed awfully big to me as well. But one of the great things about a big city like Toronto is that there's lots of fun and interesting things to see and do. There are also lots of very smart and very caring people like your doctors and nurses. So just remember, if you're feeling a little homesick for your friends, you're also staying in one of the world's best cities, which means you have some of the world's best medical people looking after you. I guess what I'm saying is that I know it's never fun to be sick, but it happens to all of us, and if you happen to be sick, Toronto is a really good place to get better. So get well soon, and thanks for listening and being patient while I deliver the rest of my speech to the adults. Ladies and gentlemen, most of you here today are either the parents of children staying here or are among the many volunteers, donors, and staff who helped make this spectacular new facility a home away from home for children with serious illnesses and their families. Two things have brought us together. The first is the need for families to be united and strong when they face serious health problems. The second is the desire to help our fellow Canadians during their time of need. There is a broad river of compassion that runs through Canadian society. Pour ce qui est des dons de charité, l'an dernier, les Canadiens et Canadiennes se sont classés au deuxième rang à l'échelle mondiale. In terms of charitable giving, Canadians ranked second in the world last year. It's partly because we're prosperous that we can afford to be generous, but it's mainly because Canadians genuinely care about our fellow human beings. This beautiful facility for families in need provides some significant proof of that. Included among the donors are hundreds, literally hundreds, of individuals, small businesses, corporations, and industry associations. McDonald's Restaurants of Canada and their local franchisees have been especially generous contributors, as they are for all Ronald McDonald House projects across Canada and around the world. And our government, along with the Government of Ontario, is proud to have been part of this partnership. Our investment here through the Infrastructure Stimulus Fund has helped create jobs and stimulate the economy during the worst global recession in half a century. Mais notre plan long terme prévoyait aussi de soutenir et d'encourager la charité privée et d'aider des familles qui font face à des problèmes de santé difficiles et coûteux. This project is also part of our long-term plan. Jim made some reference to this. Our long-term plan to support and encourage private philanthropy and to help families burdened with difficult and expensive health problems in particular. To that end, our government created the Family Caregiver Tax Credit, which takes effect January 1st, and the Registered Disability Savings Plan. We improved the medical expense tax credit, and we removed the capital gains tax from publicly traded securities donated to charity, while simultaneously reducing the administrative burdens on charities by reforming the disbursement quota. All of these measures benefit families and charities like the ones represented here today. Governments can't legislate charity, but we can remove the disincentives and create the incentives for charitable giving in order to let the river of private Canadian generosity flow. Now let me just conclude by saying to the parents of the children who are staying here at Ronald McDonald House that as parents ourselves, Lorene and I have tremendous admiration for your courage and your devotion to your children during these difficult times. You are an inspiration to us and to Canadian parents everywhere. And kids, thank you for being so patient during my speech. And all the best to everyone for a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a happy and healthy New Year. Merci beaucoup.